Hi everyone, Lee Mack here from Operation Field Fit. A bit of a different video today. I want to talk about what I do for a living, which is working offshore, and I want to help people get in the industry if that's what they feel like they want to do. And I want to go through the pros, the cons of working offshore, because it's not for everyone, definitely isn't for everyone. And I'll also run through what I feel is going to be the quickest and easiest route to getting offshore. So if that's something that would interest you, please click the like on the video and share it out. I would really appreciate that. So hopefully this video can help people. In my past videos that I've done about working offshore, because I've shown myself offshore on video, I always get in the comments, what do you do when you work offshore? I always get that comment, and I always get the comment, how do I get offshore? Because we all know you can make a good money off it. So I'm a rigger. I didn't start out like that. I started off as a scaffolder. When I left school, I instantly went into scaffolding because my father, he was a scaffolder. My brother, he was a scaffolder. He is a scaffolder. I've got cousins that are scaffolders. All my uncles were scaffolders. So all my family was in scaffolding. So when I left school, I instantly just went into that industry. So I've done that for a few years. And then I went into sales, had a long break, and then I ended up going back into scaffolding to go offshore when times got tough for me. That was about 7 years ago now. And I went offshore as a scaffolder. Because I already had a scaffolding background, it was quite easy for me to go into scaffolding again and just renew my tickets as a scaffolder, because you have to be a basic scaffolder. So you've got level 1 and then level 2, and level 2 is basic. So you start off as a level 1. And I don't recommend people who haven't got any experience, who want to get in the industry and go offshore, I don't recommend you try scaffolding if you want to get in quick. I'll go through what I think is the best route for you to go down, maybe towards the end of the video. But I'm just explaining what I kind of do and what I'd done. But because I had a scaffolding background, I didn't have to go through all the process of going all the way through the training, stage 1, being a labourer and all that stuff. I just went back into it, renew my tickets, even after having like a 15-year break. Because I'd done it in the past, I was able to do that, and I was a basic quite quick, and then I was able to go offshore. You need to be basic, like I say, is in regards to the scaffolding trade. I went out there as a scaffolder, and I only done about 2 trips as a scaffolder, and I quickly realised I hated scaffolding. It just wasn't for me. That's why I left it when I first left school. I only done about 3 or 4 years worth of scaffolding, and then I went into sales. I just didn't like it, and it was a good decision for me back then. But like I say, over the years, businesses and stuff crumbled and things didn't work out for me, and I had to go back to what I knew, which was scaffolding. But like I say, I hated scaffolding, so I come out with that and I went into rigging. A friend of mine was a rigger, and he said, go and do your rigging. And back then it was quite easy to do. Just go and get your stage 1, get a few jobs, become stage 3, and then when you're stage 3, then you can go offshore. So offshore, again, just like scaffolding, you need to be a certain level to even be considered to go offshore. And that's stage 3, a PETO stage 3. Again, it's getting a little bit harder in regards to rigging to get offshore. But rigging is one of the things that is popular, and also scaffolding is popular offshore. So them are the two good things to get into, but it does take time with them 2 trades, I'm not going to lie. This video, I want to help people do the fastest route to getting offshore, because who's got time to waste? We haven't got time to waste. And in a bit, I'll share with you my thoughts on what trade I think I would go down if I didn't have anything, if I didn't have no qualifications, I was just starting from scratch, what I would do. So I'll tell you that. Like I said, I want to go through the pros and cons and just tell you kind of what it's like as well offshore, because it's definitely not for everyone. I've even written down a few notes here so I don't forget anything. I've got pros and I've got cons. Pros, good money. You can make really good money. So as a rigger, we get anything around 32, it used to be £30 an hour. but it's gone up a little bit now. You know, you're looking at minimum £32 an hour, and it can go anywhere up to like £38 an hour. You know, normally I get offers of around £34 an hour on average. That's the going rate at the moment. And if you go away for a 3-week period, you know, you can pull away about 9 grand, 8 to 9 grand, anywhere in between. Sometimes you get overtime when you go out there, and stuff like that, and all that adds up. So yeah, good money. And also another pro is when you go away and you come back, you know, you've got a good stint of time off as well. So if you go away for 3 weeks, you know, you can have 3 weeks off, and that's what most lads do. They have 3 weeks out there, and they'll come home for 3 weeks, and then they'll look for another job. When you work PAYE, what I've found is companies will tend to keep you on and give you more regular work. So that's something that you might want to consider. Do you want to work PAYE, where you go on the books and they sort your tax out for you, or you can go limited? And when you go limited, you don't tend to get asked to go back as much. Sometimes you do get like multiple trips, where you might do 3 or 4 trips, or 1 or like 2 trips maximum. But a lot of the time it is just one-off trips. So it'll be just one trip for this particular company to do this particular job. It might be 2 weeks. You know, you might only go out there for a week sometimes. That does happen. Sometimes you'll get told you're going out there for a week and you'll end up being there for 3 weeks. But vice versa, they'll tell you it's 3 weeks and you'll get there and it's only a week. You know, sometimes you get messed about a little bit when you're limited. It's just the way it is. But if you're PAYE, what I've found is not only do you get asked to go back on a regular basis, which is good for regular money, but you know, you get hammered with tax. You do save a lot of money in tax when you go limited. So there's that to consider. And you also get asked to go back quite frequently when you're PAYE, and it's regular work, you know. So there is benefits to being PAYE, you know, especially if you've got like a mortgage to pay for, you've got bills, you've got kids, a family, you know, you might want the regular work. That's not to say you can't get regular work when you're limited. You know, you can, but it is more harder. It is more harder. Personally, I like being limited because, you know, go out there for 3 weeks and 9 grand. 9 grand, when you break it down through periods of time, like say 3 months, it works out. What does it work out at? About £600-700 per week on average. When you take that money and spread it out over a period of time, you can work 3 weeks and you can have 3 months off if you're happy with like £700 a week. And that means then that you have a good stint of time off, so you're not always there. Because let me tell you something, some people even consider going out there offshore like jail. You know, I want to tell you the good and the bad. It can be harsh. It's a harsh environment to live in. It's dangerous. Sometimes you're out there in cold conditions, weather, especially obviously the winter time. You know, you can be in freezing cold conditions, working 12-hour shifts, and it's hard. You know, that's the top and bottom of it. And even in the summertime when it's nice weather, it's physically demanding, you know. And a lot of the time you are pushed to your limits when you go out on these jobs. They'll have you out, you'll have a little break, 15 minutes tea break, you know, you'll have 1 hour for your dinner. Other than that, after a couple of hours, you might have two small 15-minute breaks for tea, and then 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half for your dinner. And if you're lucky, you might be able to even get your head down for like an hour after your dinner, a little siesta, which a lot of lads try and do. I do, especially us old folks. I would class myself as the old generation now. You know, I'm in my 40s. We like to have a little nana nap after our dinner. What was it the lad called? Was on the last job with? He said something about power nap. He has a little power nap. And yeah, if you're lucky enough, you'll get that. But other than that, it can be hard going, you know. It really can. Tough work. So you've got to bear that in mind. And when I say jail, you know, what you live in, it's like a little cell. You've got bunk beds. A lot of the time you're paired up with someone, and if you're on days, a lot of the time there's days and days in the same cabin, so you've got to sleep with someone, and if they snore, you've got to put up with it. You've got to put earplugs in and stuff like that. They do try and put people into the same room who are on days and nights, so you cross over and you don't meet each other, but it doesn't always work, you know, a lot of the time. And I'd say 9 times out of 10 that I've found now, whenever I go on an oil rig, I'm always in with someone, you know, and it's rubbish, but it is what it is out there, you know. That's what you've got to put up with. You are sharing with someone, not all the time, but I'd say 7 times out of 10 actually, you're going to be sharing with someone. You're more than likely going to be sharing with someone, and it's hit and miss whether they're going to be a snorer, you know. And it looks like a prison cell. You know, you don't have access to see your family physically. Yes, you've got your phone, you've got internet access on all the rigs, and you've got a laptop. You can do FaceTime on your phone to your missus, family, friends, whatever. So there's that. But other than that, you're stuck there, you know. And the only way you can get off there, if you really, really, really want off there, is you put what's called a compassionate in. Lads put what's called a compassionate in if they really, really desperately want to get home for some reason. Maybe a family member dies or something like that. Then that's grounds for, you know, look, we'll put you on the next chopper, get you off home quickly. So you can get off there if you really want. And obviously that's in the back of your mind. You know that that's the case. So that puts you at mind a little bit. So it's not like prison. But honestly, it's a harsh environment out there. A lot of lads hate it out there, and they're just there because they have to be for the money. And you know, I'm not going to lie and say I enjoy it out there. I don't think any lads enjoy it out there. You've just got to make the best out of a bad situation where you're at. A little tip from me is make an effort with the lads who you're working with. Try and have a bit of a crack with them, and it'll make your trip a lot quicker. It really will, if you have a bit of a crack with them. And sometimes you get with lads who you don't necessarily get on with. Some of them, you know, they're just not your type of people, and that's what's going to happen. You just got to put up with them, and then that's a slow trip. You know, sometimes you're going to be working with people who you don't like. But sometimes you'll get with a good bunch of lads, and that's happened quite a lot of the times when I've been on jobs. And, you know, then it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Like I say, you've got to take the rough with the smooth when you're working offshore. You really do. Now, not all rigs are like jail. Some of them, they're all rust buckets, and you know, it feels worse than jail sometimes. But you have your phone, like I say, you got your FaceTime, you got your laptop as well. You can play games. A lot of them have got like PS5s, computer rooms, TV rooms, cinema rooms. You've got ping pong. You've got pool. Some of them have even got snooker tables on there, and some of them have got nice relaxing sofas that you can chill out on. They've got fire sticks with all the movies on there and that, you know, so it's not too bad. And sometimes you do get where it's bad weather. So I'm rope access, as well as being a rigger, I'm rope access. So we basically dangle about on ropes to do specific jobs, and if the weather is blowing past a certain speed, we can't do any work, so that's downtime for us. Now, if that happens, two things are going to happen. First of all, you can't do the work. Okay, so you're either going to be sitting in a dirty tea shack, drinking tea all day, and if you're on a bad rig with a bad boss who makes you sit in a tea shack, and these tea shacks, they're not designed for comfort. They're basically hard seats with a bit of a tea station and a few hard seats, and it's just like a cabin, and you'll sit in there, and there's a smoking one and a non-smoking one. And if you've got a bad boss who'll make you just sit in there all day, even though there's nothing to do, sometimes you do get that. and them are nightmare trips to be on. So bear in mind, you know, that's a bad situation. If you've got a good boss, he'll basically say, look lads, there's nothing to do, just go, keep your head down, but you know, go into the association area, play a bit of pool, watch a film, and you can be just sat there on the comfy seats, and it's just like being at home. You're in like a living room environment, and it's all good then, you know. And I've been on rigs where I've been sat there for weeks and weeks on end on full pay, just relaxing, you know, on your phone, browsing Facebook, watching movies, playing a bit of pool, and then it's not a bad job. It's quite good then. But still, in the back of your mind, you know, you've got it where you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I've got it easy on this trip, but you're still not at home. You're still not at home, and it nags at you. It does me, and it must do for all the other lads as well. You know, you just want to be home, don't you? Sorry, it's a bit cold in here now. Yeah, you just want to be home, and that's another downfall for the job. But you know, you're getting good money. All you've got to keep thinking about in the back of your head is, you know, just get these 3 weeks done. You know, you've got a nice £9,000 there in the bank, and you can spend the next 3 months off if you want. You know, if you're limited, you've got the choice to do that, because over being PAYE, where you might be asked to go back on a specific date, so you know when you're going home, and then you know when you're going back. On PAYE, when you've got a contract off someone, that might be the case, and you know when you're going back, and then you can't have at home and you're dreading going back. You know, the days are ticking down, you've got to go back. Whereas when you're limited, you pick and choose when you want to go back. And if someone offers you a job, even, you can say, oh sorry, I'm busy, you know. Whereas if you're PAYE, you're basically committed to that. So again, you know, you want to weigh that up when you do get out there. Do you want to go down the route of being PAYE or being limited? I like the fact that when you're limited, you can just do what you want. You know, you might want to go travel the world for a bit. You know, you might want to relax for a bit. You know, you might do other things on the side that you do, and I do other things on the side as well. You might want to focus on them for a little bit. You know, so I do my Operation Field Fit, for example. You know, I'm not monetized just yet, but Facebook pay you to do videos, just like this one. You know, they do. And when you grow your accounts to a certain size, you can actually make an income from that. Not that I'm making it just yet, but you know, just as an example, there's other little side hustles that people do nowadays. So there's that. Let's have a look. Good, you know, the pros. You've got your time at home. You meet good people out there as well on jobs. That's what I've written down there. You know, you'll meet good lads. I've met a couple of local lads from my area in the northeast of England who I've met offshore, who are really good lads, who I keep in touch with on the phone and stuff like that, and you know, go and meet up and have a coffee with them. So yeah, you do meet some decent lads, and no doubt if you start going offshore, you'll meet a lot of new friends. So the cons is you need money to get started. So what you need is you need your survival. So you're going to have to go and pay for that. And what that is, it's just health and safety really, on what to expect offshore, what you need to do in emergencies and stuff like that. They put you in a fake helicopter, and they dip you in a pool, and the helicopter turns around in the water, so you go upside down. You got to smash out the window, and you got to get yourself out there. You got to swim to safety and all that stuff, you know. Just like if you were in a real world accident out there, you know, these choppers, they do go down sometimes, and if they go down, to put it bluntly, your life is going to be over. You're going to die if that thing comes out the sky, 9 times out of 10, unless you're lucky and you just get a bit of a small dip. But you know, these choppers, they go hundreds and hundreds of foot into the sky. Sorry, thousands of foot into the sky, and yeah, if it comes out the sky, you're basically a goner. But they have to do this anyway, you know, dip you and stuff like that. It's something that you need to do. So if you're not a strong swimmer, I would suggest not doing it. If it's something that really, really scares you, going into the water, being in a helicopter, turning upside down in this makeshift helicopter, you need to do it in order to pass, you know. And you're getting watched as well by these guards, and if they think you're not capable of getting out and they have to get you out themselves, you might fail the course. Very rarely do people fail it, but it's something to consider if you do have a fear of swimming and stuff like that. But yeah, you need money to get started, so you're gonna have to do that. I think they do a deal where you do your mist is just like health and safety, you do your survival, your mist, and it's like and you do what's called you have to measure your shoulders as well for the helicopter. So they do like a special course and they bundle it together, and I think it's about £1,000 or even 800 actually to get that. So once you've got that, you're then eligible to go offshore. You've passed all your courses, but you still need your trade. So whatever you do for a trade, like I said, I started for scaffolding, but it takes a long time to get into that because you need to be basic, and it takes a long time to get to basic. Same with rigging now. It used to be easier to get in. You used to be able to do your stage 1 and then wait 6 months, say you've been doing a bit of work, and you could even get a letter from a company saying that you've done rigging, and then go into for your stage 3, which then allows you to go offshore because you need to be stage 3 or Pete or stage 3. But it's not as easy as that now. I've been told that they've stopped doing that, so the letter that you used to be able to get saying you've done rigging, and some lads they'd never actually done the rigging and they said they had, and they're still going and get the course, so they're qualified, but they don't really necessarily have the experience. But you can't knock lads for doing that because no one was taken on level 1s for them to gain the experience, so they had to basically blag their way through to level 3 in order to get jobs. But I think a Peter grabbed onto the fact that that was happening, so they've made it a bit harder now, so you can't actually get the letter anymore. They don't accept it, I don't think. So that's why I'm not going to recommend either scaffolding for you or rigging now, because it's much harder to get into. I also do rope access. Now rope access I do recommend you get, because it's one of them things that goes with any trade. So you get rope access scaffolders, rope access riggers, rope access bolting. We'll talk about bolting in a moment, because I also have my bolting, and that is something I would recommend. You get rope access painters as well. You get rope access electricians, you get rope access pipe fitters, you get rope access what's the other one? You get rope access pipe fitters, and you get rope access mechanics. There's another one that I'm thinking of that I can't think of it off the top of my head. It might come, plater. Yeah, plater. So if you're a plater or you're a pipe fitter already, or you're a scaffolder already, then you've got a trade there to fall back on. All you need is just go and get your ropes. It's about £700 to get your stage 1 ropes, rope access, and there's loads of training centres where, you know, just type in Google rope access and you'll get a centre pretty close to you that does it. It is a physically hard, demanding job, rope access. You're pulling your body weight up on ropes and you're doing all these different manoeuvres. It's quite complex, but after a little while it gets easy and it just becomes second nature. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But it is physically hard work, but it goes perfect with any trades offshore. That's why I suggest you definitely get it, because it definitely helps get jobs. It helps you so much. If you're already an electrician, you're in a good spot. If you're already a pipe fitter, you're in a good spot. If you're already any of them other trades that I just said there, then just get your ropes, do your survival, and then all you need to do after that, guys, and if you haven't got any of them, I'll talk about what I suggest in a minute. There's two trades along with the rope access that I suggest you go for if you want to get out there quick and you've got no qualifications whatsoever right now. That's the main beauty of this video. People who come across it, who are thinking about getting offshore, who thinking, is it right for me, isn't it for me? Everything that I've talked about, I'm giving you the pros and the cons of being out there, so you know whether it's going to be for you or not. But then I'm also telling you what to do. So like I say, if you like the video, it gives you any good advice, please just hit the like button and give it a share. You know, get the channel out there. I'm trying to grow my channel. Primarily the channel is helping people get healthy and fit. I'm a bit of a fitness enthusiast. I'm actually going in the gym pretty soon, and you know, that's what it's mainly all about. But like I say, I do talk about what I do for a living. We've all got to make money, and you know, I'm struggling right now actually to get offshore, and that's another con. It's seasonal work. It is seasonal work, so I don't know about all trades, but certainly rigging and rope access, with the rigging and rope access, it definitely is seasonal. So with the rigging and the rope access, like I said, I don't know about electricians, I don't know about mechanics. That might be different, they might get it all year round work, but with rigging it seems to be busy up until like March. So it'll pick up March, you know, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So for 9 months you'll be busy, and then the other months, December, January, February, it's quiet. It's very, very quiet. So you have to make your money in the busy period, in the summertime really, and then you need to save money up so you can have that time off when it's not busy, because it just does die and there's hardly any jobs. Everyone's fighting for the jobs and stuff at that time. And we're February now, it still hasn't really picked up. But I'm looking on LinkedIn and there is jobs now starting to fly out. So pretty soon I'll be out there, no doubt. But yeah, I am struggling at the minute. That's another con that I've got written down here. It is a bit seasonal, depending on what trade you go into. I'm absolutely freezing here, guys. I do apologise if I'm shivering a little bit and finding it hard to speak. I could put the heating on in the car here, but it'll interfere with the audio, so I didn't really want to do that. So you know what it's like out there. You know you can have it good and you can have it bad out there. It depends on the boss that you work with. When you've got the downtime, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Are you going to be able to just play pool? Are you going to be able to watch just movies and stuff like that and have a bit of free time? Or are you going to be stuck in the dirty tea shack, sitting on a hard seat all day? And like I say, these places aren't designed for comfort. They're designed so that, you know, to get you off the hard seat to work, basically. But if you can't do work, then they expect you to just sit there sometimes, and that is rubbish. That is rubbish. Not always the case, you know, not always the case. And look, some lads just basically, when they're in that situation, they basically just say to the boss, no, we're not sitting there. You know, we're going, and there's nothing for us to do. So we're going to just go and sit in the nice, comfy areas of the rig, and we'll watch TV. Sometimes the OIM doesn't like you to do that, and the OIM is basically the full boss of the rig. You know, what he says goes, or what she says goes sometimes, because there is female ones now as well. There's a lot more females as well going out there offshore. That's what you should know. So some men will be happy about that. You know, a bit of female company when you're out there. It used to always be men all the time, but there's a lot of females out there now. It's a nice change, I think. You know, a bit of female company, it's always nice, you know. So what have we got here? We've got the cons. Like I say, you need money to start. That's another thing. So if you don't have any money, then unfortunately you either need to borrow it from a friend or family member to do the survival and stuff like that, and the rope access, and then the other courses. So I'll just tell you what I recommend to get out there quick if you don't have a trade is you either do painting or bolting. So painting or bolting, them are the two courses that you can just go and do, and you don't have to have any prior experience like you do with the rigging and the scaffolding, and then you can go offshore. You know, it doesn't take much to paint, and bolting seems to be quite easy to do as well. It's just a 2 or 3 day course for the bolting. I don't know what it is for the painting, how long the course is. It might be a week, it might be a few days, I don't know, because I haven't done it. But rope access painters are in demand, and it's good money, and you can get offshore quickly, and you can do the courses quickly as well. Same goes with the bolting. So them are the two that I would recommend that you do if you just want to go out there and get money quick and you want to get offshore. Not only that, but it gives you offshore experience as well. So if you do the painting, for example, and you get out there, at least then you can say I've been offshore, and you've got experience as an offshore worker. That goes a long way on your CV. So then you can decide to then maybe move into rigging and do it slowly and try and get jobs here and there in between doing your rope access painting. And if you progress with your rope access career and you go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 over the years, when you get to level 3 as a rope access, you're in very high demand, and it's a good job to have. Just being a level 3 rope access by itself, you can continuously keep going offshore, and all you are doing is you're just looking after the ropes, and you're working with lads with multiple different trades. You might be working with laggers, painters, riggers, pipe fitters, electricians, and you're looking after their ropes for them, and all you're doing is setting the ropes up and looking at them going up and down it. And sometimes you go up and down it as well and do a bit of work. But if you're just rope access and that's it, and you don't have a trade other than your rope access, which is fine, that's also good. You can earn good money offshore as a rope access level 3. You don't necessarily need a trade, but at that point you can easily then do your level 1 for your rigging, for example, if you want to be a rigger, and then wait a little bit and do some jobs, because you're offshore on an oil rig. You can easily get all your book filled in at that point, and then just go and do your level 3. So if you want a stepping stone into the industry, I would suggest painting along with your ropes. And again, the painting, I don't know how much it would be to do the course. It might be £1,000. And then your rope access, it's about £700, to start as a level 1. And then you've got your survival and your mist, which is, like I say, about £800. £800, say 1,500 with your ropes, and then your other course for a painter, which might be £1,000. You might be looking at about £2,500 shelling out that amount of money, which is a con, isn't it? Like, that's one of the cons. But you might have to borrow that off a friend, family member, and get out there. Like, one trip can earn you £8,000, so when you get out there, you do 3 weeks work and £8,000 in, and you can pay whoever it is you've borrowed it off, pay them back. And like I say, if you get into painting and rope access, it is in demand, and you don't have to have any previous experience, so you will get out there. Unlike rigging, if you're just a stage 1 and you've done all of your mist and your survival, and you've only got a stage 1 as a rigger, and you don't have your ropes even, and that's a situation my cousin finds himself in right now, and I've helped him so much. But I've told him he needs his ropes, and he needs to be a stage 3 rigger, and he just can't get a job. So I'm gonna have to put my car on here, guys, because the lights went out. Yeah, he can't get a job, unfortunately. At the moment, he's struggling a little bit. But in regards to the rigging, there is companies now taking on level 1s, but it is hard. That's why I say go for the painting or the bolting. Unlike the painting, I think the painting, I don't know what the price is, to be honest with you, because I've never done it, but I think it's about £1,000. But I know the bolting, you can get the bolting course, it's about 2 or 3 day course, and that's only £800, So yeah, you're looking at just over £2,000, 2,500 to get yourself all the sets that you need for either your bolting, rope access bolting, or rope access painting. Do both. Be a bolter and a painter. It gives you double the chance of getting a job. Once you've got your sets, you need a CV. Okay, go on LinkedIn, open yourself a profile, which is very, very important. That's where you get your jobs from. Okay, then you add people who are in the same industry as you. You look for recruiters, type in recruiters. There's loads of different companies, and then you need to get yourself a list of all the different email addresses of all these different companies, recruitment companies. So when you see a job post off a recruitment company or an offshore company, take copy and paste the email address, put it in a little notes folder, and then you can continuously email them and ask them, do you have any jobs available, and tell them that you're available for work. That's all you do. It's as easy as that. Every time you do a job, you update your profile. There's people on LinkedIn who build your CVs and your profile with your CV, and then they'll update it. So they'll update your CV. And every time you do a job, you just tell them to update your CV. I think it costs me £5 with this woman. She just updates my CV every time. And that's it. It's as easy as that. You get your certs, you get out there, you do your jobs, you update your CV, and you keep pushing forward, emailing, ringing up, and you just be consistent. And that's all it takes, consistency. You keep on, not bothering them, but you keep on the radar. If you're on their radar, you're on their mind when they need a rope access painter, rope access bolter, rope access rigger, scaffolder. You'll be the first person to think of if you keep inboxing them. On LinkedIn, keep messaging them personally, keep emailing the work email address. And like I say, build up a list of your contacts as you go through your career, and you'll soon have a long list of email addresses that you can email out to, and you just basically keep them updated on your availability. That's what they like you to do. So you just email them and say, look, I'm available from this date going forward, please update my availability. And then they'll know, and they will do that, and then they'll email you if something comes in. Okay, like I say, whether you want to work as a PAYE, where they pay your tax for you and you get more regular work, or whether you like the idea of being a bit more flexible and paying your own tax, making more money. You do make more money as limited as well, but then you've also got the freedom of just working as and when you want to. Yeah, you've got that flexibility. Is there anything else? Let's see. The cons are you're away from home for a long time. It can be considered a little bit like jail sometimes. You're wishing the days away. But when you get home, guys, you've got that time off. But when you're away, you do miss things. So there's lads who you'll see, and they've been offshore for 30 years, and they've been out there for 15 years because they've worked half the time and they're home half the time. And they've missed out on so much. Birthdays, weddings, christenings, you name it. Christmas, New Year, they've missed out on it all. I've even missed out on a Christmas and a New Year, and I don't want to do it again. That's why I didn't work this Christmas. I stayed at home. I've been off all December and January, but that's partly down to the fact that it's seasonal work as well, this. And like I said, it should pick up any time now, so I should be back out there pretty soon. But I hope this video helped someone. I hope it helps someone. Now you know what to do. You know what it's like out there. You know the pros, you know the cons. You know what you need to do to get out there the fastest way possible. Like I said, I recommend painting or bolting, but you must get rope access along with it, because it really helps. You probably wouldn't even get a start, if I'm honest with you, if you didn't have the rope access with it. So just get the rope access with it. Make sure you do it together. Borrow the money, pay it back when you get offshore. Do your survival, get your CV together, get yourself a LinkedIn profile, and then start building that list of contacts, emailing people, telling them you're available. Be consistent. Be in front of the recruiters all the time, and you will get a start. Like I say, you don't need any prior experience when it comes to painting and bolting and rope access. You will get a start. You will get a start, and you will start making money. And then if you wanted to move into different areas later down the line, like scaffolding or rigging, which is a bit better money, well, rigging's a lot better money, then that's an option for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I know it's been a bit of a long one, but there's a lot to explain. I wanted to explain exactly what it's like out there. I wanted to explain exactly what you needed to do. I hope I've done that. Like I say, please hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, and also I'll teach you other things in the videos to come. How to get healthy, how to get fit, and how to have hopefully a better life. That's what Operation Feel Fit is all about. Speak to you soon, guys. All the best.